Welcome to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage. Today we're going to be having a look at Phantom. This is going to be a higher time frame video. We will be doing a lower time frame video as well, which can be found above here. So check that out if that's more what you're interested in. Okay, so let's get into the charts and see what's going on. Okay, so we have price history here from October 2018. Now, because we do not have all the data, we need to just be aware that we do have to take a little bit of a guess as to where this is within the bigger picture here. So what I'm looking for first off that we're going to cover is the possibility that this is just corrective up from this low. Now, the way that we'd be looking at that as a corrective move would actually be treating this as A, B, and C up into this high for an A wave. And then we'd be arguing that this is an A, a B, and a C. Now, if this is the case, what we would be saying is that this B wave could potentially be completed, and we could be looking to push to the upside. Now, if this is the case, what we'd be looking as a potential target here would actually be this 84.55 at a 1-to-1. Now, if we did see a lower down target, we would be looking for that 0.854 here at this $34, this 0.786 at this $22, and then the minimum requirement would be this 779. So it is possible that this B wave could drag out, but in relation to the time that it took this, if we're looking at this as an A wave, I would say that it was probably completed. Now, what we would want to see is this move actually start to push to the upside. So if this was the case, what effectively we'd want to see here is, now I've got this labeled as C, but it could also be a Y. So this could be W, X, and then Y. So what we'd want to see here effectively would be price to either push up in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're looking for a C wave, or alternatively, we could see price actually push up in 3-wave structure, and we could see something along these lines where we see this being an additional A, a B, and a C to the upside. So that would be the key difference here. Now, this is not my primary way that I'm looking at it, but I am open to the idea that if we actually do start to form a bigger 5-wave move to the upside, this could actually be the correct count. Now, the other way that I'm looking at this is that we could potentially have this as an impulse. So what we'd be looking at here is that effectively from lower down here, we have a wave 1 into this high. It is possible we could have something like this as well, where this is A, B, well, where this is W, this is X, and this is a Y wave. So we need to be open to that idea that if this does take a lot longer to play out, potentially it could be that actually our wave 1 was further back and this whole move was a wave 2. So now, the way that I'm looking at this currently is treating this as the high here. Now, if this is the case, what we have is this is a wave 2, and then we have this as a 5-wave move up here for this wave 3, where we treat this 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 up into the high here. Now, if this is the case, what we could argue is that we're looking for this 4th wave. So the 4th wave support zone that we typically look for here would actually be this 60.75 to this 0.807. Now, I have a time-based fib on here as well, just to show the time relationship between this, if we want to look at this as a wave 2 and this as a wave 4. So we have actually come past that 1-to-1. We've just crossed this 2-to-1, and basically what I want to see here is I don't want to see this get too much bigger than this 3-to-1. We can potentially get up to this 4 times within a 4th wave, but it starts to become less likely the longer that actually this plays out. So what we'd be looking for here effectively is that we are either completed this 4th, which I don't think is likely, or alternatively we would have the first leg of this looking for a push up and then looking to potentially come back into this 50% zone here at this 0.807. So that would be the other way that we're looking at this. And then finally, what we could also argue is that this move in itself would be an A wave to the upside. This would be looking for a B wave to the downside, and then we're looking for that C wave to the upside. Now, once again, if we're looking at it in this way, I wouldn't like to say that this is actually completed here for this B wave. It did come down to the 0.382 though, so we need to just monitor this and see exactly how price plays out. If we do start to push to the upside, we could argue that within here we have a completed move, and then we'd be looking for the C wave. But I do think that from a structure point of view, if this is the case and we have this as a completed move up here, it is more likely that we will see price actually revisit some of these lower areas here between this zone of this 0.807 to this 0.090. So this would be a typical zone we'd be looking for. Now, this doesn't mean that we can't move up, and in fact I think that is more likely that we would move up before we came down here. So we'll go over the different counts now of the internals. The internal legs are potentially the same, so we're going to go over that now. What we'd be looking for here is that if we are looking at this move to the downside here, what we could argue is that we have something along these lines here where we actually complete into this high over here, and this is this 1 2 3 4 5 to complete this last sequence to the upside. Now if that's the case, what we could actually have is something along these lines where we treat this as an expanding diagonal for wave 1 2 3 4 and 5. If this is the case, this would be our A wave low, and then we're looking for a B wave to the upside. Now technically speaking, we have actually completed high enough here that this could be complete, and we could actually just see that this has been a move to the upside as ABC, and then we could look to fall and break to the downside. However, I do think it's more likely that this is actually still playing out to the upside here. So our zone we're looking for is this $1.77 to this lower range here of this 0.5232. So we have come down into that. This golden pocket would be a particularly interesting area for me if we did see an additional push to the upside here. This could actually look to retest some of these previous support zones, as well as bring us into this golden pocket area. So I would be keeping an eye on that if we do move up. Now if we are looking at that internal leg here, what we could actually have is the fact that this is A, this is B, and we're looking for this C wave to the upside. So this would be valid for as long as we hold the low of this 16 cent 40. What I would be looking for here is actually potentially coming down a little bit lower, looking to retest this golden pocket towards this zone of this 27.94 to this 26.73. However, if this is actually taken place here and we're looking at this as a B and a C, what we could actually say is that we could be completed within this count where there is W, X, and Y, and we could actually say that this is already completed where this is A, this is B, and then we have this as a Y wave to the downside. Now the 1-to-1 is actually a little bit lower here towards this 22.52 to this 25.38. So this would be an interesting area if we do look to actually push down a little bit deeper here. This would actually bring us into this lower target box we have here, this 25.82 to this 20 cent region. So we're going to keep an eye on this if we do see price push down here. Now I do think that it would be likely to see a move into some of these swing highs that we have over here on the left and retest these levels as support, but we'll have to see exactly how the waves actually play out. As well as that, we can't rule out the fact that if we're looking at this as an A wave to the upside, that we could actually still be within this bigger B wave. And what we could actually see is something along the lines of a flat developing, where we look at this as ABC. And then what we're saying here is that we're actually still within this bigger B wave. Now, the thing I'm looking out for here is that if we do just see a three-wave move to the downside here, A, B, and C, or W, X, and Y, what I would be looking for is the potential to find support in this zone here of this 30 cent 44 to this 24.34. Now, if we do find support in this zone, what we could actually see is price start to form a five-wave move to the upside. So if we're looking at this as A, B, and C, we could still see that five-wave move to the upside. The difference within this is I'd be expecting a shorter move to the upside. So what I'd be looking for here effectively would be a smaller five-wave move, looking to actually target out this zone of this 72.20 to this 57.73. So this would be a typical area. Now, as an expanding flat, it would have to take this high. So we'd probably be looking more towards this 1618 of the 72.20. Now, if we was looking for something like a running flat here, what we could actually see is a price actually find resistance at this 50 cent 29. Obviously, as price moves down here, if we do get another drop down into that golden pocket, it'll adjust these targets slightly. But the idea would be looking for a five-wave move to the upside, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then actually seeing price come back down and take this low, and then look to actually find support in this lower box area that we have here. What this would then mean is that this would be our A wave, this would be our B wave, and then we'd see a C wave to the downside. So that C wave target, if we had to come up here to this 1382 at this 6303, would actually mean that we'd be then looking for a five-wave move to the downside. So this will be key. If we see five waves up and then five waves down, this is probably what is playing out here. Now, what this would be looking to do is actually just be a bigger B wave here, and we'd be looking to target out, like I said, the 1-to-1 of the 27.22 if this is going to be a running flat. Alternatively, if this is going to be an expanding flat, would be looking lower down here towards some of these areas here of this 22.71 to the 16.94. So that would be the key zone we'd actually be looking here. Now, this depends, obviously, once again, how high we come here. So this is just looking out for a bit more of a tricky B wave in between these, but essentially the idea is the same. If we are looking at this as a B wave, we're still looking for that potential to find support above this low of this 1640, and then we want to ideally of this 2216. Now I am primarily looking at it in the other way, where this is A, B, and C, or W, X, and a Y, in which case we would look to hold this channel. If we fail to hold this channel and we start to break down, then I'll be looking towards these lower supports boxes potentially for support. But if we take this low of this 1646, this would actually imply that this is potentially completed further back here. Now the other way that we can look at this move to the downside would actually be saying that we have a 5-wave structure here. So this would be treating this as 1, 2, this as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, with a diagonal to complete this 3rd wave with just a simple zigzag to the upside. Now the key thing is here, if this is the case and we have this as a 4th wave, I wouldn't want to see an additional push up past this point, because this as a wave 2 would already be very small. So what I want to see is actually this move reject to the downside from this point, where actually we're building something over here looking for this 5th wave to the downside. So we're going to go over the internal way of looking at that. So that would actually be treating this in this way, where from over here we have this as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now we haven't actually come down deep enough for this to validate yet. What I want to see is a cross of this 2781. If we don't cross this 2781, then I wouldn't be looking at it in this way. Now it is always possible that within here we could have this 1, 2, 1, 2, and then actually this whole move here is becoming a bigger 3rd wave. But in order for that to actually be, well, for us to look at the count in that way, we'd actually have to see a deeper move here past this 1796. What we'd then be looking for is, if this is 1, 2, 3, we'd look for an additional 4th up and then a 5th, and then we'd look for another 4th and a 5th. So that would actually be looking for a additional leg to the downside for the 5th wave. Now alternatively, if we are looking at it in the way that I'm currently treating this, I'm looking at this as an expanding leading diagonal here, and what I'm looking for is this cross. Once we cross this, I'll be looking for that potential of a 3-wave move to the upside, where this could actually then become A, this could become either B or wave 2, or then we could look to break down in a bigger C or a 3rd wave. Invalidation of this would come by crossing the 6555. If we move back above that 6555, that would invalidate this potential. Now what I'd be looking for is effectively, like I said, crossing this 1-to-1 line, then seeing a 3-wave move up, and then actually seeing this progress to the downside, where we get a 3rd wave looking to target out this 1246, getting an additional 4th wave up, and then seeing an additional 5th wave to the downside. Now if I throw that target on for this 5th wave, what we would be looking for would be around this 1095 to this 892 level. So this is what we'd be looking for as a potential 5th wave target. If I overlay the bigger count here, we can see that this is actually where this target is anyway, this 1186 to this 7 cent range. So this 1186 to this 7 cent range. Now that would actually look to bring us back into the bottom of this channel again. So going to be keeping an eye on that. If we do see price just break down directly, we could see a push down into this channel, looking to actually complete this as a 5th wave. Now the other way that we can look at this move is that from further back here, what we have is this is ABC for A, this is B, and then we have this as a 5-wave move here. And now the difference within this count is that we would actually be treating this as an A, a B, and a C as a flat correction. Now within this, once again, because of the proportion of these waves, I would say that is likely that this X wave would actually be done. And if we are looking at this X wave being done, what we would then be looking for is the potential to see a move to the downside in 3 waves for this Y wave. Now the target we'd be looking for here would actually be between this 0.618 at this 1046 and this 1-to-1 here at this 0339. So what we'd be looking for here ideally would be a 3-wave move to the downside. So what we'd want to see is something along this line as ABC. We'd get a retracement up, then we'd get another 5-wave move down or 3-wave move down. This would all form a bigger A wave. We'd get a B wave up, and then we'd get a C wave to the downside again. So that's what we'd be looking for, as this is a bigger WXY, looking for actually bringing us deeper down. Now if I overlay the bigger count here, this would actually mean that we would not be looking for this fourth wave if we see a deeper move into these levels. So what I'd be looking out for here is if we start to lose this 0807, the fourth wave idea starts to fall apart, and it becomes more likely that we're actually looking for some of these lower targets over here for this B wave location, which would be between this 1990 to this 0090. So if we do see this play out as W, X and Y, it becomes more likely we're going to see a move potentially down here into this golden pocket area of this 3 cents to this 2 cent. If however we push up first and we get this as ABC, then this could actually protect that fourth wave area that we're looking for. When we get this additional leg to the downside, it could look to protect this 50%. So that's what I'm looking for within that. Now there is a way that this could actually still look to protect that that 50% level, and that would be if this X wave is actually not completed. So if we are looking for an X wave, we've already come up here into the 382, which is this 59.75. Now what I'm looking out for is the potential that this could be incomplete, and this is actually just the first leg. So what we'd be looking for is much the same sort of idea with this corrective wave in the middle here. What we'd be looking at this move as the same ideas as we were looking at previously, where this could be WXY or A, B, and then we're looking at this as a C. And what we'd be looking to do is actually looking to target out this area of this 35.65, which we've already come into. So we've already come into this and we've gone down past this golden pocket area. Now the key zone I would be looking at here, if we do look to push down a little bit deeper, would be the 702 at this 27.88 and this 25.17 as a 0.786. If we see price push down into this lower range here, this could tie into that X wave completing and then looking for that possibility of this Y wave to the upside. So we will go over the internals of these counts within the lower time frame video, so make sure that you check that out for more information. Now if we had to push directly to the upside from where we currently are, what I would then be looking for is the potential to see a move up to this 121 here at this 94.18 to this 1618 here at this $2 area. Moving above this 1.618 here would have to make us looking at this structure slightly different. When we get a W, X and a Y, we don't really want to see this Y wave extending past that 1618. If we do, it starts to normally mean that actually the count is wrong and there's something else going on. Okay, so now I just want to go over a couple of ranges. So first off, looking at this whole area as a range, what I'm on the lookout for is the fact that, you know, if we do see price push down lower here, what we could actually see is price could look to come back and revisit this lower point of control, which is sitting here towards this 24.42. So if we did see price look to break down a little bit deeper, that would bring us into this target box area here as well, and we could actually see support potentially come in here. This is why I said a back test of this bit of structure would be quite an interesting level to me, and a potential to actually switch this into support and then look to move away. Now if we did move down deeper as well, we have this value area low sitting towards a 16.85. As well as that, if we did look at that possibility of having another leg to the upside here for this either as an A, B and a C, or a W, X and a Y, we do have this value area high, which is sitting up here towards this 76 cent range. Now this is an important area here. We can see it is also a retest of some of this previous structure here, so it would be interesting to see how we react around that level. Looking at this as a range in isolation that we've currently been in here, we can see pretty much the same thing. We do have this value area low, which is sitting towards the bottom end of this move of this 1844. We have this point of control, which is pretty much in the same location as the bigger one, and that's sitting towards this 2273. Now this would be a little bit lower, and I would be keeping an eye on this as a potential area we could see if this does look to actually extend down deeper. Now as well as that, if we did see price react back to the upside here, what we could need to be aware of is we need to keep an eye on this value area high. If we see price move up into this in a 3-wave move, then potentially that idea of that 5th wave would make a lot of sense, where this becomes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we get a 3-wave move to the upside for that wave 2, and then looking for that 3rd wave to the downside. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on these levels as we see price develop. As well as that is, if we did see price move higher up here, one thing I'd be keeping an eye on is these previous value area highs and lows that we've got here of this $1.04, which could be an interesting area if we do see an additional push to the upside here. If I overlay that ABC option, That would be towards this $1.10 as a potential one-to-one target, obviously from where we currently are. Now this would be interesting because this could actually look to bring us back into this value area low. So we've got these swing highs over here, we've got this value area low, would be an interesting area for sure. Now if we did move up higher, we've got the point of control towards this $1.43 that would be keeping an eye on, and then as well as that we have this higher range here of this $2.25, which would be the previous value area high. So we could get a reaction off those levels. Having a look at the Ichimoku cloud here on the weekly, what we can see is that we have started to build up a little bit of a cloud above us. So there's a couple of areas I'm going to be keeping an eye on. First off will be this conversion line if we move to the upside towards this zone of this 46.97, as well as this baseline towards the 69.71. And then as well as that, if we see this actually develop as A, B, and a C, like we talked about coming back up into some of these higher areas, it'll be very interesting to see how we react towards the bottom of this cloud, which is currently sitting towards this $1.05. And then it depends how long we take, potentially this $1.09. So that would tie in actually with that one-to-one level. So I'd be cautious if we just get a three-wave move to the upside here into this 1 weekly Ichimoku cloud. This could actually give us a rejection. Now it doesn't mean we have to go to new lows here, but I would be looking for the potential of a reaction around these levels. So we just layer these different confluence points for a little bit more of a picture of what we can expect from price at certain levels. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video. Leave us some feedback down below, and also in the description you'll find a link to the Discord. Come check it out, it is free to join. Everyone have a great day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.